I decided to just restart the whole thing, and we'll just kind of pick up. I'll see if you guys come back. Sorry about that. I don't know. Anybody here? Okay. So we had a technical difficulty, and we're going to do the second part of today's video here. And so we did the quote on the last one. We said hello to Faith and Odie and Venetia, and today's Odie's birthday. Happy birthday, Odie! And I'm just going to see if my friends find me here with a new video. So kind of a bummer. I hate technical problems. So, anyways, I am kind of talking about seeing somebody else's somebody else seeing my studio through their lens, basically. So it'll be interesting to see what they find interesting in my studio and to see what they want to photograph and focus on. The Quilt Folk article comes out in October, and that's also really unusual. I wasn't expecting that because usually when you do magazine work or like even design fabric or do anything like that, it's usually 8 months, 8 to 12 months lead time. So the fact that they work so quickly, they're doing all of their photography and interviews now for their fall issue because it's a quarterly based um we're calling it a bookazine. I got that from Scott Hansen because even though it's a magazine per se, it's more like a coffee table book because it is really beautiful. Their photography, everything is very beautiful, all of the articles, but it doesn't have any advertisements or anything like that in there. And so it's really, so if you haven't got Quilt Folk magazine, I would just suggest that. And it's each issue focuses on a specific area. So this time it's Washington State, and it's interesting because I didn't realize that they were doing a um, issue in Washington State, but other people had to write in to suggest artists for the magazine, and they said that several people had written in for me, which was pretty flattering. So thank you to all of the people who took the time to do that. I'm very excited for the opportunity. I feel like, if it goes with our quote today, that life is a series of thousands of tiny miracles and we should notice them. I'm just noticing that as a miracle because I would not have the opportunities to do all of the things that I'm doing without the support of many of my friends, family, and the people who like my work. And so this is not, this is one of those rare occasions that I did not go knocking on a door asking to be a part of something. And that feels really great that I have done enough work and inspired enough people that they did that for me. And so I feel so honored for that. And Roger says, "Good morning from the Holloway clan. Good morning." Um, I so basically we spent the whole weekend cleaning, mowing the yard, getting things in order for all of this. And and I'm so tired. We're both so tired. And so today I'm going to go do my shipping and I'm going to quilt a quilt and we are just going to see what the day brings. the rest of the week, I'll be filming videos, hoping to get a good chunk of time done. I have to get prepped for Quilters Affair, which is the outdoor quilt show in Sisters, Oregon. I kind of got a little panic stricken yesterday because we got our final letter before because I drive in there on Monday and I'm there for like basically a whole week. I drive there on Monday and then I come home the following Sunday. And I am really tired, sorry. Um, and it's always funny because we've kind of been uh, preparing for this for a year because they contacted me like last July, I think, for teaching this year. And so you have all of this in your mind and you're so confident about it. And then when that last like final thing comes, it's like, oh my gosh, do I have what it takes? Do I know what I'm doing? Even though some of these things I've taught several times and I, have certainly taught a block of the month several times. I can't even tell you how many embroidery classes that I've taught. But when you go into a big venue like Sisters, where it has all this prestige and everybody talks about it, and you just kind of get that like, oh, am I going to do okay? And the truth of the matter is, I always kind of get a little bit of panic just because, I mean, I do this for guilds all of the time, but the truth of the matter is that I am more of a gifted storyteller than I am a teacher. I am not a very gifted teacher, and I say that honestly, which is not like probably a good advertisement for my business, quite honestly, since I go around teaching. And I say it in the most honest way that I can, in the best. And I say that not because I think that, I'm absolutely horrible, but I think that we all have our gifts and talents. And I can tell a story, I can design a pattern, and I can quilt. But sometimes as a teacher, you have to be able to understand, and I'm learning. I'm learning as I teach and go around. Um, how to explain things in a different way sometimes for certain people or other people that learn in a different way. And you have to be able to fine tune and, sort of decipher and figure those things out. And so, because I am not in a teacher like in a classroom where I do it 40 hours a week. It's not like I can exercise that muscle all of the time to figure out, the way to do that all of the time. So I'm gaining the experience as I go, and maybe a lot of people learn that way too. But so there's always like that little bit of doubt that kind of gets me. But then I have to like, do the self talk of, Prisma, you've been doing this every month. I mean, because I'm kind of scheduled every month for a workshop. You've been doing this several times. You're gonna do okay. It's gonna be fine. just just go, put your best foot forward, pray, and hope that it all works out and that you get very good students. So that's sort of what I had to do yesterday when I had that moment, and just go and try to have fun and be myself and do the best that I can, and hope that everybody understands that as well. That we're just also sewers that um, work every day to create fabulous designs and try to help people get better at their hobby and whatnot. So, but I'll be preparing for that this week. I want to go through some of the harder blocks and just like refresh myself. It's kind of funny too because I I do have people that help me sew my samples, but I even if I don't have someone else sew the sample and I do sew the sample, um, I use a lot of the same blocks and whatnot and stuff, but I'm always in such a hurry to just get it done. And I don't have to think about things as much anymore because most of the stuff that I do is not, I've done it, hundreds of times that I don't think about it anymore. But then when you have to explain it to someone, you do have to like think about, okay, we need to do this step first, that step first. So I just want to refresh myself on a few of the techniques that were a little bit different than some of my normal stuff, and um, make sure that I take my time figuring it out before I then explain it to someone else. So, um, because I realize not everybody has done as many quilts as I have, so it's not just second nature anymore. And I think that's the other part that kind of struggles that I struggle with a little bit, is that it has just become second nature and I don't think about it a lot. So I just do it, jump in and get it done, quilted, out the door in 2 days. So it's just one of those things. So, um, and Odie says, I'm pretty sure you teach in a way that everyone understands, or you'd not be this accomplished, but you are. Yes. So, the thing about that too is that I decided early on, like my first classes that I taught were embroidery and all of those embroidery stitches. And I chose to teach in a certain way because that's the way that my brain works. So I have to do everything in a way that is very primitive. If you pull up the needle this way and then go down that way and come up this way, wrap it this way. Um, that was the way that my brain had to learn so that I could do it. But when they start doing all this trickery with their fingers, or do three steps in one movement, I couldn't understand that. I couldn't get that. I needed to see the 1, 2, 3, 4, not the one, skip 2, 3, 4, combine it all in one stitch and then do it. So, and I found that other people needed to learn that way too, because um, that was so confusing. So yes, I try to break it down in that, in those primitive, basic steps. And the way that I write my patterns is that way too. Um, I I get emailed a lot about um, the size of the half square triangles that I use in my patterns. And the reason I do that is because the original math for half square triangles, is using those 7/8 and, whatever. I learned the math for that, like turning any size, you add the 7 and 8 or whatever it is. And that's just the way that I do it. If you don't want to cut on that 7/8 of a mark, just round up and then you can do all the trimming. You can do it however you want. I'm just giving you the basics because that's how I learned, and that is what has stuck in my brain, and that's easier for me. So that's how I do it. Um, so on top of that, what do we have going today? Or well, this week, I have a meeting with my fabric company tomorrow because I think I'm pretty sure that I'm going to fall market in Houston, and um, I have a new Christmas line to promote. So it won't be shown until then, but I think they told me that I'll be getting my sample yardage the end of August, which I'm so excited about because I really am excited about the line. Um, I will tell you that it does contain a pink barn and chickens. So that is very exciting to me. And so I have a meeting with them tomorrow. I have another appointment tomorrow and then something else. Oh, the other exciting thing that has happened is that I have curbing put around the barn, lawn curbing, which I know does not sound like very exciting, but that's very exciting to me because um, it just kind of finishes off the look. And when you have lawn curbing, you can just, put the wheel of your lawnmower right on that curbing and mow. And so there will be no more weed whacking, which is very exciting. I mean, we do have to do that still, but just not in that area. But I do have to go in and finish it off and fix all the areas that are full of weeds and sod still and that. But I don't know when I'm going to do that, but It's just one step further in the progress of finishing everything up and making it beautiful. And I have some rose bushes to plant. I've been waiting for those to happen. And I booked this company. Well, they came the first year that we were here to do curbing in some of the other areas. And I had called them like back in April, I think, and said, "Hey, I would like to get that." And it took them this long for their schedule because they're pretty busy. But I know that they do quality work and they're worth it. So you just wait until they have an opening to fit you in. And I'm just glad that they kept me on the schedule. So, yes. And then Roger says, show us pictures of the curbing you had installed. Well, I do have a little reel on my shorts, but if I do that, then I have to the phone outside. Um, if I unhook everything, then I'm afraid that I'm going to run into some troubles. And apparently, my phone is very busy today. It's the one day that don't have it on do not disturb, and it just keeps ringing. I have no idea what is going on here. I am never that popular, I guarantee you. So, um, but I am definitely going to post new pictures of the curbing after I get everything prettied up. And the other thing that Rob did this weekend is get the riser on the septic tank, which doesn't seem like a big deal. And it was a really smelly job, I have to say. But it is a big deal because we've been hearing nightmares of people who have to dig in 5 feet of snow when their septic goes wrong around here. And we just decided that we did not want to experience that. So we might as well put a riser in while it was summertime because Murphy likes to visit here a lot. And I do not like Murphy visits. I would prefer if he never came here, and I am ready to like, so trying to be one step ahead of Murphy is good in my book. So we did that, and because we had to kind of figure out where it was anyways when we put in our new patio. So um, we figured we might as well just go ahead and put that in. So that was one of the other major accomplishments for this weekend, and I think that was it. We've been doing some work at the church and trying to get some stuff done over there, and Odie says better safe than sorry for sure. For sure. Like I hear nightmares of what other people go through, and I have had enough nightmares at this place that I don't need any more. Um the weather has also been kind of crazy around here. It's like been raining and thundering and lightning, and then it'll get all sunny. And so it's like just very hot and humid outside, which when you live in central Washington, you don't experience a lot of that. You experience a lot of dry heat in the middle of summer. And um, so it just feels really muggy outside. What else do I have going on this week? Trying to think. I think that's it. Just those are the major bullet points. And um, I'm just going to look for the blessings in each day because it is so chaotic and busy. Um, but I don't know, it just makes me feel good when my studio is clean, and it was a really good excuse to kind of clean and organize some things a little bit more because when you are just working in your everyday grind and you have all of these deadlines, it's easy just to stack up this pile and say, I'll get back to that. And so then when everything is like sort of put back in its place, and I don't know, it just made me happy to walk in here this morning and think, oh, I don't have to worry about anything today, honestly. So that's a blessing in itself. Um, so I guess I'll sign off, and unless anybody has any questions that you'd like me to answer, I am good to go, honestly. And Barbara says, "Good morning. This has been an unusual time of weather for all of us. Nothing like a good thunderstorm." Well, that was true. Last night it was like really thunder and lightning, and we had just given the chickens a bunch of treats and stuff. And Rob's like, "Why are we wasting our time? They're not going to come out here when the weather is like this." But we have like this covered carport in their coop area so that they do have like a dry place. And they still were willing to come out for their treats. So, which is a funny thing. But I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, a wonderful week. Notice those blessings, and I will keep you posted and I will post pictures on social media. I am so excited to see what kind of pictures real photographers are going to take because, I just do my best to do what I can. So, have a good day. Love you all. Bye.